I don't know if I've ever had so many ideas at once as I had in the past few days. As soon as I finish one project, like for example, these little cards we've made in the last video, something new comes to mind. And that's why you see this video here today. Originally, I had planned to give you one more idea with my printable last minute Christmas, but then something happened again and I had another flash of inspiration. So there will come 2 more videos, so including this one, because I just couldn't decide what I want to show you, or yeah, well, I decided that I want to show you both ideas I had, additionally to the others we have already created. So today, oh, hi, this is Luisa Heinzel. In case you don't know me, welcome to my channel. And if you follow me for a longer time already, then welcome back. Today, we are talking about these little things here, which are meant to use on jars with, for example, some handmade cookies, handmade jam or so. This says handmade with love. Please don't judge me. I had a little accident in my kitchen a second ago, so these things in here are not handmade, but I wanted to have something nice for the video. You can't believe what happened to me. I had something really nice for this jar, and to be honest, that was bought as well, but you know, this is these kind of sweets are made in a factory, aren't they? With a machine. And what I had for the video, and I have bought that for the video, it was a handmade thing, but not by myself, but also not by a machine, yeah? And I wanted to put that in this jar, and a second ago I was in my kitchen, and then I saw that the stuff was moldy, and I bought that, I think 2 days ago or so, and I was so angry, I thought, well, I don't know if these will survive the video in here, because yeah, this is now my plan B or so. I hope you can live with this. This is just in here so that you can imagine better what is going on here and what I want to show. When I made this printable last minute Christmas, which you can also find, of course, linked down below this video, I had a pretty big problem, because I thought, how the heck can I make these things which are meant to go on the lid of a jar like so, in the correct size, or in a size that you can then use and which is handy for you. This here, when you put it on here, is a little bit too big here already for this jar. If I, for example, take another thing like, ooh, stay here please, like this, it has an own mind, like this plastic thing here. I mean, you could gift cookies in this as well, yeah, or tea or so. On here, this would fit perfectly. These little guys here are too small for my taste for this, because I can still see this little thing here. I mean, this is then, if I would use this to gift it, then this would be obviously an upcycled glass, yeah? And I would like to cover the original writing here, but that is not completely possible with this kind of thing. For pesto jars, or for these smaller jam jars, these are perfect. But when I made the printable, I thought, wait, the glasses in the world have all different sizes of lids. Yeah, that is normal and that is okay. But how can I get a good size? The second thing is, here where I live, and in other countries in Europe as well, we print on DIN A4 paper. You overseas print on US letter paper. And even if the printable is possible to print on both sizes, it comes out in a slightly different size from your printer if you print it on A4 or US letter size. That is normal. So I was sitting there and I thought, how can I do that? And then I decided to do 2 different sizes for the printable, so that you can then take that and shrink that to the size you need. You have probably then perhaps to measure that on your computer screen, or print it perhaps several times so that you can get the right size. But I think that is not a big deal. That is okay. Yeah. So, and then When I wanted to make this video, I was sitting here and this was the only jar I could find which was available for me to use in this video. And then I was sitting here and I thought, well, this is a little bit too big. Now I need to go to my printer and do what I expect from you to do as well, so that this works. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And print this a little smaller. And that would be obviously no problem. And then suddenly I thought, wait, Louise, it is pretty good that this is a little bit bigger than the lid is, because then we can use the fact that it is bigger for our advantage and for today's project. And that is exactly what I want to show you today. And it's really hard for me to not take one of these now. So I want to show you something, and that would be possible with these smaller ones as well. If you had a smaller glass, I will take one of these bigger ones because I only have the big jar. Yeah, but you could do that with these as well. There's also one in the printable which looks a little more like, yeah, like a sticker or so. You could print this on sticker paper, of course, as well. But you could do that, this idea with this shape here as well. So which one shall we take? I think I want to have this one. And let's then take a piece of paper that can be everything, but I would recommend to take something a little sturdier. This is the wrapping paper, or one of the designs of the wrapping paper, which you can get with the last minute Christmas printable. This is the turquoise version, and there's also this design available. And this is meant to print, and then you can use that as wrapping paper. Put, for example, this, what we've made in the last video, on here, and then you have a nice present. And if you don't want to take a printable, then perhaps you want to take something which is a little thicker than regular copy paper. This is 110 GSM. And now I want to first tear this edge off so that we get this nice grungy edge. And then I tear strips. This is now approximately, well, let's take an inch, okay? That really doesn't matter, but don't make it too small, too thin, because then it's really hard to handle, because we want to attach that there in a second. And I'm a little bit excited. I already recorded my German video. You know, I always make 2 videos. And I already recorded the German video, and in the end, when I had this thing finished, there have been so many more like additional ideas that I nearly couldn't believe that. But of course, I will show you that in this video as well, and demonstrate those ideas, because I think this is really versatile. It doesn't look like that yet, but please wait a second. So I think 4 should be enough. And now we take a little piece of tape. Now I take this and I take my little circle here and I put this to the circle like so, approximately to the half of the strip. Yeah, so here's approximately the half, then I put it on here. I tape this here, but only there where the beginning of this thing is. This just helps me to hold this in place. And now I start turning this into a ruffle, following the shape of the circle. Look, just fold it like so. You can see these nice white edges come here. If you don't like that, you can of course print something to the back or use a paper from your stash which has a pattern on the front and the back. But I like that, and I will later on ink these white things, and then that will look really nice. If you want to follow this here exactly like I do, please make sure that you don't add glue here now. Yeah, we don't want to attach this here yet, because I want to tuck something in there in a second. So you need to hold this here for a while, but as you can see, that is absolutely no problem. It seems a little bit weird because, you know, it's like this, but when you do it, you will see that that is really no problem. And now, well, let's put this the other way around, then we can see better how it is. Now I place this here and I just take my tape and tape the end of this strip. Then I take the next strip, put this on here. That also, this doesn't have to be perfect. This edge looks nicer. Choose the nicer edge and put that to the outside. Does that matter? Not really, but you know. So then let's take this and let's continue turning this into a ruffle. And I mean, you have seen this circle that was the tiniest little bit too big for the lid of my jar. With this, I'm making it bigger. Yes, and that is exactly what I want. I want a really nice, like frame around here, and I want to make this a little bigger. I think you will later on, when this is finished, see how you can find out how big you want to make that, because that is a little bit depending on the jar you have. But in a second you will see how you can adjust that really easily. It would make absolutely no sense to explain that now, because that is then you can't understand it, because you can't you can't see into the future. Well, let me quickly finish this. Here you can see it's a little bit too short. You can think if there where the think about if there where this gap is, a little tab would make sense. So if you have something like this and you think, oh, I need the tiniest piece of ruffle here, don't freak your freak, just leave this gap and fill that then with a little tab. I will show you in a second how I do that. So when we have that, this looks absolutely strange, but that is good. Next, let's take some tiny bits and pieces. I think this color would work really well, but for Christmas, I think this is nearly a little bit too brown. What do we have here? Oh, this could perhaps work. This has these tiny dots. I have this stuff in white, so let's take a bit of that. You can also include some tiny bits of fabric. Ooh. But I want to have mainly lace, and I use these tiny pieces. This container is always next to my sewing machine, and I throw everything in there what I have left over. Also these, like, you know, where normal people think, what is this? And a junk journaler's heart is jumping higher. These pieces, I mean, you know what I mean. I think you have something like that laying around as well. And if not, then please take bigger pieces of lace or such stuff and just tear something off. Or cut something off if you can't tear the material. I would say the easiest way would be to directly go to your sewing machine, or if you don't have a sewing machine, directly take some glue and then put this in here and glue it down or sew it down. I will quickly demonstrate how I do that in a second on my sewing machine, and then I will go to my sewing machine and sew that on. So I will start here, and like with a snippet roll, for example, I start sewing here, and with sewing I tuck the pieces behind and then I sew them on. You know, like you would do it with a snippet roll as well. There you would probably also not arrange this whole thing first and then get into trouble when you want to take this to your sewing machine. But you would have this on your sewing machine and then, you know, just go for it and just sew. So now it looks like this. As you can see, I have added a ton of material because I really like when all of these frayed things come out here. I really like this look, but of course this would work with less material as well. I've also added one layer of lace, on top here, not all around. Here you can see there's still the edge of the circle visible, but here I've added something on top so that we now have this layered look of this whole thing. Here where this gap was, I have taken this cute little, yeah, how is this called? Tulle? I don't know. I think that is not the right word, but you have seen this piece a second ago when I have taken it out from my box. I have put a little bit of white fabric underneath to create this little thing, and I think I will cut this off because we don't need that here. But you know, here you can also see how I did it. I've taken this kind of fabric, then this on top, folded it around the corner here, so that not only the gap is closed now, but that we have a little nice addition here as well. When I had that on here, I have taken this little piece, this is also just from a little lace, and I have sewn over here so that this, yeah, this end of the tab doesn't look so weird. So let's then take some ink, and I want to, perhaps I should have done that before attaching the lace. Well, I want to ink these edges here. Okie dokie. So then, since this is now bigger than the lid of the jar, we will take this and turn it around, and I will quickly go around here. Before we can go on, we need to make a little test now regarding to the sturdiness of this thing. Depending on the materials you have used to make this, it can be that it is now really sturdy and that it doesn't bend anymore. Imagine you have used perhaps some heavy scrapbooking paper, or the ruffle was made from a really thick material, or you had used some thicker lace than I have here. Then it can be that this is already sturdy enough. How can you test that? Take the lid, put this thing on here, and you can see this is now, of course, bigger here. And take that, put your thumbs here where this is ending and press on here. If it makes something like this, you know you need something to make this sturdier. If this isn't going down because it's sturdy enough, then just leave it like it is. But as you can see, this is, yeah, a little bit flimsy. So what do? We take this, we take something from the trash can, like this packaging here, for example. In this case, I've chosen a really heavy, this is corrugated cardboard. This is really sturdy. And now my problem is that I don't have this tool, you know, this where you can make a circle shape. So I can take this and I can see I need something now which is bigger than the lid to trace that. But this thing here works. So if I put this on here, I can see when I trace this container that it is exactly the size I need. But please, if you if you have such a tool, you know, circle. I knew the word. Some of you have taught me that word. It's not atlas. Globus, also not. Something like that. Something that is really weirdly translated to... Oh no, what is that now? Oh, is that true? Now my circle is there where this fold from the package is. I will do that again, sorry. Okay. Please don't be confused. I just cut out this circle which I made new and ignore the other one because I don't want to have folds in this circle because that would be against the plan to make this sturdier. This will go on here later, like so, and as you can see, the size is now perfect for this thing. My piece here is, of course, not a perfect circle, so that means there are tiny things which are peeking out here, but that's totally fine. That really makes no difference. So now we are going to take this and add a portion of glue here. And then we just glue this on here. I make sure that it's as centered as possible with this weird shape. So when the glue has grabbed, we can turn this around, and then we take the lid of the jar, place that here, take a pencil, and now I want to center the lid so that I have an equal frame around here. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but you know, make it as centered as possible. And now I want to be on the safe side of this thing. If I would take my pencil and hold it there like so in an angle, I would get a line which is exactly the same size like the lid is. That's not what I want. I take the pencil like so, and because of the fact that it is getting thicker here, I get a slightly bigger tracement, is that a word? Of this. Can you see? Now it's a few millimeters bigger than the lid is, and I'm on the safe side for my next step. We want to put some holes on this outer frame here now, and I need to make sure that the holes are only here and not here, because here there will be the lid later and I can't handle that then. That will not work. So I want to make some holes in here now with my crocodile and then set some eyelets. If you don't have a crocodile, then please put some tape on here to protect this material. Take an awl or a needle and poke some holes in here. That would work as well. You will in a second see that it would be absolutely no problem. But if you have a crocodile, then take it out now, because it's really helpful for something like this. On the back here, I can see where this is, yeah, where this space is, where I want to have the holes. So I want them only here on this outer frame, not here. I will do that really irregularly, but you can also, of course, measure and do that way more regular. Could you do more holes than this? Yes, of course. Why am I putting this away? Brain. I don't know what's happening here. So let's choose a color for the eyelets. First I thought this would be nice, but I think I will take the golden ones, because for Christmas that is probably a little nicer. So I will put these in here and then use my crocodile here to set them. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a coincidence. I haven't, oh my goodness, look, how cute is that? that is coincidence, that this is exactly here where this little guy is. That fits really, ooh, nice together. Okay, so I will now put an eyelet into every hole so that we then later on have them here like this. So all of the eyelets are in here now. And now we have to make a decision regarding to the adhesive we want to use to put this on the lid. When I tried this out the first time, I thought it would be a good idea to use some double-sided tape, because then you can remove this later to clean the lid when you want to clean the jar as well, when the things inside are eaten. Double-sided tape, I thought, would be good, because, you know, then you can put it on here and take it off. But I realized that even this piece, I mean, can you see that? That is really small, was too strong. And I couldn't get this off so well then in the end anymore. It worked, and obviously if a little bit of this would be peeled off by taking this off, and you know, when the double-sided tape is too strong, oh, excuse me, that would be not such a big problem. But I thought, if double-sided tape is not so good, let's take some hot glue, because I want to try something else and see if that works better. But perhaps you have something which is not too sticky, so that you can put that on, that it is removable later. I also thought about a mechanism with magnets. If you would include a magnet here, then you could put that here, you know. What is this? Is this true, or I'm freaking out in a second? Now I have made a break, and I had this in my plug for I don't know how long, and it's just not working. Holy cow. Please imagine we would, I'm so sorry. Please, those situations make me so angry, but I want to go on now and I will not wait for my hot glue. But you can imagine putting some pieces, drops of hot glue on here, because hot glue on metal doesn't hold so well, but it would hold well enough to hold this in place for the purpose of this whole thing and for the time you want to have it there, and then later on you could easily take that off. Since I have put my finger on here several times, I guess that this is not so extremely sticky anymore, so I will try to put this on here. Can you see? It's just, you know, it's strong enough. If it's like this is totally fine. You don't want to travel around the world with this thing, yeah? Perhaps you want that, then please just take really strong glue. But you could also do this by gluing this permanently on the lid, and then use the lid later for my second additional idea, what you can also do with this thing. But in this step, we take this and we put this, the lid on the glass, so that we can see the distance we have here. Because now we want to take out some, for example, beads. I have chosen, I have taken out my red and green little things here. You can use whatever you want. You can use some paper beads, for example, or also some wooden pieces like this. I mean, this in this context would also look really nice. I'm just thinking here where the tab is, we could, ooh. Shall we do it like this? Do I have a star? I mean, I have these Christmas trees, and I think I had a star here. I have a green star. Oh yes, I think I like this way better. So we need tiny pieces, beads, buttons, this stuff. And then we need a sturdy thread. And I just cut a piece of that off. You could even use something like tiny bells or so. You want to have something which can sit on the eyelets or on your holes, which can't slide through the holes. If you made the holes with a needle or an awl, you don't even have to think about what you want to use, because the holes would be so small that nothing could slide through here. If I would here take a bead which is like really tiny, oh yeah, even this one would be good, because I mean, yeah, it can't slide through the hole. You just want to make sure that it can sit on there. But for here, I want to use some things which are a little bit bigger than what I had there a second ago, so that it's a little bit more visible. Oh, I have these. I mean, they are not very Christmassy, but these are these little flower beads, and I have them for ages, and I don't use them so often. But what if we, I mean, that would be really cool to have some of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's take 5, and let's see if we have something which can sit in there. So what I'm trying to say is, you can now, of course, play around with things you have and combine that somehow. This looks really good. Do I have perhaps those smaller beads in red? Probably not. I mean, ooh, this looks a little bit weird. Let's see. Because when we use, if we use red, we could have the colors from here, but that looks really weird. I want to take these green ones. So let's see. Hopefully, where is it now? Yeah. Hopefully I have enough of those. Oh, but, oh, they're all in one spot there. Oh, come out. That is good, okay. Okay, hopefully these holes, oh no, hopefully these holes are big enough. So I take this, try to get, oh no, no. Oh, my thread is too thick. My thread is too thick for this bead, and that is one of the main problems of my life. I mean, if I don't have other problems, then that is pretty good, but oh, that's so sad. Okay, let me search if I have other beads which would work with this. Oh, that looks even better. Okay, that was the reason why the string thread. Is this a string or is this a thread? I don't know the difference, sorry. So, the bead is on here. If you don't want to make a combination from two things, I mean, I'm assuming not everyone has something like this, yeah? So you could even take just this one bead and do what I'm doing now, yeah? That could be, that is possible as well. So we take these. Is that true? Why? It doesn't work. Oh my goodness, I want to cry. This is so sad. Why is that not working? Yeah, that is probably the reason why I have never used these beads. Because that is, it's just, I mean, why is this hole so small? Would have been nice, but it is not what we do now. We take a single board. This is, oh my goodness, I have to really, I mean, I nearly don't have my body under control at the moment. I'm so sorry. Keep calm, Louise. Keep calm. These would also look nice. Do I have enough of those? Ah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Noch eine bitte. Just another one. So that we have an odd number. Okay. So when you finally found a bead which fits on your thread, take the both ends of the thread. Fiddle that through this hole. Take the ends of this and make 1 or 2 knots. Just like this. And now you have these 2 ends where you can choose other things to fiddle on here. I want to take some more beads, but you could also, of course, take, for example, buttons. You could take some charms or so, whatever you like. And of course, whatever you have. And whatever fits on your thread, where the hole is big enough to fiddle that through. So I have this here now. I think I like that. Now I take this and I hold my jar in an angle, or when you have that on your table, it's way easier to see, because when it's hanging here and you can look from the side, you can easily see how you want to do that. Please decide how long you want to have this. I like to make different length now of these threads. When I have decided for the length, I just mark that here with my fingernail. I mean, that doesn't have to be perfect, but I make 1 knot, check if the length is okay, and then I make more knots so that this bead, the beads can't slip over that anymore. So, you know, when the hole is, that is the other disaster with beads. You have either those which don't fit on the thread, or where the hole is so big that they fall off. That is the 2 characters of beads. When we have that, we can cut this off, and then this hangs here like so, and we can then take the second thing here, more beads with hopefully holes which are big enough, and put them on there as well. I'm really a little bit sad that this thing with these flower beads didn't work. So I'm thinking, do I have more of these stars? on these. I want to cry because I really like the green better, but only 2 of the green ones is, I mean, what is that? No, 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 no. Could I paint these green? Yes. Will I do that now? No. I think this is nice as well. So if you have something which you can put in here, or if you perhaps have these buttons, look, do you know these buttons where here is this thing on the back? They are always so hard to use on junk journal pages, for example, because of this distance here. But for this project, these are perfect. Put them in here, I mean, with the thread fiddled through here, and this would be the perfect addition. But what I'm trying to say is you can now choose whatever you want and put that on here. For example, this star, and then put this through. Well, since I have this green one here, do I really want a green one here? I don't think so. I think I want to put this green one here into this hole. Let's perhaps first find the right colors without freaking out. Perhaps this red one on here. Or even a button like this in there, but smaller. Oh, not so easy to find 3 of these in the same design. Oh no. Okay. Today is definitely not my day. Is this really too big now after I have searched for don't know how long? Okay. Approximately half an hour later. Today is obviously not my day. I thought, I mean, I have approximately 10,000 buttons, and that is the real amount, because I have all of the buttons from my grandma and my mom, and that is a whole cabinet with buttons. But can you believe I couldn't find 3 of the same buttons which fit with this part of the button through this star? I mean, this is pretty big, isn't it? Totally crazy. But now I have 2 options. The first option, I mean, we still have the option with the green beads, but I think if we would mix that with some red, that would also be nice. But to be honest, this looks like a child in the kindergarten has made it. I don't like this. It looks so plasticky cheap somehow. I mean, these buttons are plastic, but why don't I like this? Can someone tell me? I think I know. I think I like these stars because there's this star in the middle as well, and that is not visible anymore when the button or this button or the other button is on there. That is the problem. Do you know what? I will take these stars now, put them out of my way. Otherwise, it will drive me crazy. I will first go on. I'm so sorry. I will first go on with these beads and fiddle the others on here so that I can imagine better how that looks. But this is exactly the reality, isn't it? Because what you have on your desk is perhaps something like this, where you thought, okay, she said, choose tiny things. We can use buttons or beads or whatever. And then you have chosen something, and then the struggle begins. And I can totally understand when you say the struggle is real, because when something, you have put effort into the things which are in the jar, when there are some handmade cookies or so, of course you want that the jar is nice as well. And even if I bought these sweets in there and they are not handmade, I of course, oh no, I forgot to make a knot there. I of course want to have the jar nice, and yeah, I want an arrangement which is to my liking and not such a weird thing. And that is something that can really wreck my nerves. I love this sound so much. That is even a little bit better than my little pizza bell. Perhaps you remember that. Yeah, so as you can see, what do you want from me? Do you want to be like, ooh. Okay, it wants to be in the air. Okay, so I will show you this from this angle in a second. I have all, I mean, I can't do it because in this camera angle I can't do it because then everything is like moving around. I have alternated the green ones here, the green beads, with some red ones because I thought that looks really nice. And in the meantime, I also found out why these stars didn't want to work a second ago, because this one green star wants to go here and this red bead wants to go in there. That is the reason why I had this struggle before. And to be honest, off camera, I was screaming a little bit because of course, I always want to show you this stuff here as professional as possible. And I want that you can understand what I'm thinking. And, you know, with the English language is sometimes really hard for me. And that is one point. And you are so patient always with my struggling with the words and so on. And then this happened with the stars and I thought, oh, can I please just do something nice and can it please just work? So I'm really happy that my camera has the button to turn it off so that I can scream off camera and then come back a little more relaxed. That drives me crazy when I have a plan that then doesn't want to work, but I really like this. And let's now come to the second idea I had, how you could use this once the jar is empty. Please imagine this was an ironed Christmas placement which you have on your favorite place in your home, where you perhaps want to read a book or so, or sit down and, you know, watch TV or whatever you do there. Take this lid, place that there, and take all of these things and arrange them like this. You could also, of course, add more things in between here. For example, Christmas ornaments, little like sweets or so. I'm thinking about candy the whole time. But or for example, little candles or so that this is then additionally decorated or so. But I think only with this it already looks really nice, doesn't it? And then when you sit there in your cozy surrounding, imagine you have a cup of coffee or something, and when you want to place your coffee somewhere, you can take the cup and just put that here. Then the cup is on there like this, and I really like how that looks. It would, of course, also work with something else. Not only a cup would work. I mean, I have taken this because I love this cup. I got this in a Happy Mail. Really, really cute. And I just love this cup, especially on those days. Like today, because today I feel like him. But this would work with, for example, a candle as well. And what I also thought was, perhaps you have some of these trees. These are from Ideology. And you could even take either some real Christmas ornaments, as I said, or take the Christmas ornaments from the printable. If you have these things laying here, you could even use these for journaling during the Christmas time, and then take these and glue them into your Christmas journal. Or so you could even make 25 of these and put them there. Take one of those every single day in December, and then write something on here, then you would have like 25 Christmas thoughts or so until Christmas. Yeah, I think the possibilities are really endless. Imagine you have invited some guests for Christmas and you would put this arrangement to the table. I mean, you don't even need this for this idea. Yeah, you could also make only this lid, yeah, without the glass. But imagine you had this in the middle of the table and you would use these Christmas ornaments with these little labels and write the names of your guests here. Then everyone could take his little Christmas ornament and read a note which you have written on the back for that person. You could even do this thing with the trees when the lid is on the jar. Of course, not only with the trees, but with other decorative elements as well. Let's quickly close this again. And then imagine you would take these trees and put them on here. I mean, you would cover a lot of this design here, but for me, that is not so crazy because, or not so bad, because this still works for me as a ground for these trees. And even if I would cover this up, I mean, if I would receive this as a gift, then I would have read Handmade with Love and the message was brought to me, and I would have no problem to put these trees on here because that is just cute. And then this paper here can work as a ground for the trees. And then from this angle, it looks like this. I really like this. And I especially like that you can add to this during the Christmas time. You can also, I mean, these trees stand by themselves on here. You could even change what you have on here every few days in December and make that different depending on what you find in your house, what you want to use. I mean, do you like this? I'm really hoping that you like this. And what I also thought is when you have finished what's in here and you have eaten that, you could take the lid and hang that to your wall. I will show you here the video footage from my German video with, you know, the piece I made in the German video so that I don't have to record that again. I hope that is okay for you. But I thought that looks then nearly like a little dream catcher when you put that to your wall. You could even think about taking the lid and adding that to a journal cover in the end. But hanging that to a wall is also, in my eyes, a really, really nice idea. So I hope you like this, and perhaps you want to join me for the next idea, which is then something, or which is going to be something, because it's not existing yet, which can go around a jar like a little banderole or so. I had a little, yeah, another flash of inspiration or so, and I want to share that in my next video with you. So have a very creative day and see you the next time. Bye bye.